David Cameron's promising to do more to help families in future by ensuring that every government policy passes a test of whether it's family friendly.
In a speech today, he's expected to say parents and children are too often overlooked and can be left worse off by reform.
Well, if he really said that, I can verify his statement. My family has indeed been made significantly worse off entirely due to his own party's reforms. David?
Welcome to the Conservatives YouTube channel. Here you can find out all about our plan to secure a better future for you, your family and Britain.
Well, with all due disrespect, that is bullshit. My wife, being a non-EU citizen, has been refused entry to the UK due to David Cameron's own party policy on immigration, which leaves my British daughter and British me in a dilemma. Do we return to our home country or do we live in exile with mummy? We can't live in our home country with mummy. So why would David Cameron implement such a divisive and discriminatory policy? Let's hear the justification from the mouth of his minion.
This is not just about the numbers, though, in terms of family, because we think it is right that somebody who is wanting to bring somebody into the UK to join them as a spouse or a partner should be able to support them financially and should not be bringing them in on the basis that they're going to be reliant on the state.
Right, but wouldn't that affect the children? This is something that the journalist picked up on.
I suppose the people who will suffer in that situation will be children, won't it? Because are you happy with that the children of immigrants will be particularly targeted?
No, I think what most people would say is that they think that it is only fair that if people are going to be able to get benefits out of the system, that they have made some contribution into the system before they do that.
Ha! I have contributed. I paid nearly £1,000 in visa fees. Where did that go?
And what about other relatives? What about children? What about aunts and uncles and grannies and so on?
Well, in relation to children, we think it right that, because obviously there are costs involved in children as well, that the income should be increased, the required income should be increased for each child. And I think that's right. I think it is important that if people are bringing people into the UK to create a family here in the UK, that we say that you should be able to support yourselves and not be reliant on the state.
So, if people are married to somebody who is not from the EU, they can only live together if they are rich enough. Is that ethical? Besides, whether you think that's right or not, it doesn't explain why people who can afford to live together as a family are also inconvenienced by the policy and refused visas.
The problem is that Article 8 is in the European Convention on Human Rights.
Yes.
Did I hear that correctly? Human rights is a problem?
And if you look at it in the Convention, there are two parts to it. The first part basically says you have a right to a private and family life. And the second part says that actually states, governments can qualify that right. This is not an absolute right. So in the interests of the economy or of controlling migration or of public order and those sorts of issues, the state has a right to qualify this right to a family life. Now, what's been happening up till now is we've seen cases going through our courts where people who are criminals, who we want to deport, have been able to stay in the UK because the courts have said, no, you have this right to a family life. And they haven't been qualifying it, even, I think, in the way that the European Convention enables them to do.
Right, so let me get this straight. Because there are some criminals in the UK who you cannot deport, that justifies preventing families who are not criminals from entering the country. Is there some kind of causal relationship there? What happened to the notion of innocent until proved guilty? doesn't that breach another human rights article? Wouldn't it be more prudent to tighten up the deportation rules rather than preventing people coming into the country as families?
Because when we ask ourselves the question, who is it that brings up children, cares for the elderly, helps us when we're sick, inculcates the right values and teaches people, the family does all of those things for us.
Well, absolutely right. So shouldn't we be trying to keep families together rather than ripping them apart? David?
When we contemplate the fact that family and relationship breakdown has enormous consequences for our society and for our children, but where you can help people come together and stay together, then surely the government should play its part in helping.
Well, I couldn't agree more. So how about you start doing that, huh?
The Conservatives. Needlessly tearing British families apart since 2012. Shame.